the Cleveland Guardians select Travis Bazzana, a second baseman from Oregon State University.
The big slugging Aussie from Oregon State, Travis Bazzana, number 1 overall pick in the Major League Baseball draft yesterday. We talked about this briefly on Friday?
Sure. Yeah.
That ESPN had mocked him down at 4th, and he'd been projected as a number 1 or number 2 guy, and the Cleveland Guardians fell in love with Travis Bazzana, who not only became the first ever Australian to be selected first overall, the first Australian to be selected in the first round of the Major League Baseball draft.
I think also the first second baseman to be selected first overall.
That he also is the first second baseman, and if you look at it, because the international pool for players, you basically go in, it's a bidding process, and it's kind of rare that you will have an international player be selected in the first overall or in the first round, because it goes to, you have to play college or high school baseball in the United States, obviously, or be Puerto Rican, because it is a territory of the United States. Yep. So Bazzana becomes the first ever Aussie to be selected first overall because he came over and played college baseball here. I think the previous high was the 7th round was the next closest for an Australian. A pretty good leap there to go to number 1 overall.
Yeah. Well, of course, in Major League Baseball draft, they have 764 rounds.
That's right. They actually cut that down. I think there's only like 30 this year.
Oh, okay.
Or something like that. But they used to just go until a team didn't want to pick anymore. That's why you had like the Mike Piazza 53rd round. Pretty good favor that they called in for Tommy Lasorda.
Yeah, that one worked out okay.
Yeah, I think so. That was a good pick for the Dodgers. But Bazzana goes as a second baseman going first overall. It's hard to get a second baseman to be the number 1 overall pick because, look, the dude rakes and usually don't have a second baseman that hits the way that Bazzana does. Hits for power, hits for to get on base. He has got every tool in the bag. And for him to go number 1 overall, it's a big feather in the cap, not just to Oregon State baseball, which now you can add to the list of number 1 overall picks.
As far as feathers in the cap, they're going for a whole headdress.
Well, this comes from Josh Warden. Josh Warden is a baseball broadcaster. He's based out of Dallas, Texas, where the draft was in Arlington, side of the All-Star game. But Warden tweeted this out, and it took me a while to get this. Because it's mind-boggling. Travis Bazzana being drafted first overall means that at least one player on every Oregon State baseball roster from 2013 to as far as 2028 has played with a number 1 overall draft pick. A 15-year run.
Wow.
Think about that, because if you have a freshman who this year was a redshirt freshman and they go all the way through and they stay at Oregon State to 2028, there will be at least one guy on each one of those teams that has played with a number 1 overall draft pick. Think about where Oregon State baseball has come from, and under the Pat Casey era and now into the Mitch Canham era. You have got a baseball factory.
Yeah.
There's very few teams, and I love the fact that Oregon State's going to go out and they're going to play their independent baseball schedule this year, because it's going to be, all right, who wants a piece? And there's very few programs that can go out and they can do that. And Oregon State is one of them. And for Bazzana to go number 1 overall, now you run this little streak out all the way out to 2028. Hopefully it keeps on going, because that's a crazy stat when you think back and you look at the greatness that has come from Oregon State baseball, and legitimately at every position too. They have been turning out top-end prospects. I think it's awesome. And at a time where good news is hard to come by when you are an Oregon State sports fan, to have that one where 2013 all the way now to 2028, you'll have at least one member of the program play with the #1 draft pick.
That's crazy.
It's a pretty cool feather in the cap.
Yeah.
For the Oregon State baseball program. The other thing that you got to look at the Stars have been really damn good at Oregon State. Obviously, Adley Rutschman, who is in Dallas right now, and he's going to be playing in the All-Star game as a starter, catching for Oregon State. He went 1-1 overall. Then you also, if you go all the way back, let's see, that 2013 draft, or I guess it wouldn't be the 2013 draft. Would that be Conforto? Or was Conforto, he was a 10th overall selection.
Okay, yeah. Well, I don't think he was that far back, was he?
Yeah, he was the 20.
Was he?
2014 draft.
Oh, okay.
Was Conforto, but I guess you're throwing it in reverse from Adley Rutschman going in the 2019 draft, because the one guy that you can point to is Max Engelbrecht, who was on the 2013 team.
Okay.
And so I think his time at Oregon State is the #1 that gives you from 2013. Now you can go all the 2028. #1 overall draft picks. Good on the Beavs, and good for Travis Bazzana. I'm interested. I hope his career is everything that it's being hyped up to be, because he's going to a very good organization right now in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at where Cleveland is at in the AL Central, they got a 4.5 game lead in the AL Central. You don't want to go to the Oakland A's, right? Who were picking 4th in this year's draft.
No, you do not.
No. You got Andres Jimenez, who's second baseman there now. Apparently they're saying it could be like 2 years till he gets up there. But you're going to an organization that has, in recent memory, played in a World Series, losing the Chicago Cubs. They are looking as if the future might be bright there in Cleveland for the Guardians. Good for Bazzana going to a place where hopefully he can win at 1-1 overall, #1 overall draft pick. Travis Bazzana. History made. First ever Australian to be taken in the first round. First Australian, obviously, to be taken #1 overall. And then the first second baseman to be taken #1 overall. And I looked back at this about a month ago, and I couldn't find even an international player outside of United States or Puerto Rico that has gone 1-1 overall. And now Bazzana, Australian, going 1-1 overall. I wonder if he can be like Paul Skeens and he can be in the major leagues by this time next year. Have you seen what Skeens has done now? Now, he was just called up. He's going to be the starter for the National League
Bananas.
in the All-Star game.
Never has somebody made only 11 appearances before starting an All-Star game.
Have you also seen what his Cy Young odds are now?
I mean, I would assume they've got to be pretty good.
He is now the 3rd best odds to win the Cy Young as a rookie.
Behind who?
That's a very good question on the betting on the betting lines. That's a very good question. I'm imagining Chris Sale is up there. Aaron Nola's probably up there.
Let's see here. What do we got here?
Zach Wheeler maybe up there. But I just saw that cross my timeline. He is 3rd for Cy Young. Who you got?
Hang on. We're at the AL. Give me the NL here. Well, this must be an old one because this has Paul Skeens way down about like the 8th best odds.
Yeah, that
this
popped
is from what is this? From the 9th, covers.com. But they've got Zach Wheeler, Chris Sale, Ranger Suarez, Tyler Glasnow, Logan Webb, Reynaldo Lopez, Max Fried.
Yeah, this is from DraftKings. On July 9th, he was plus 2,800. Today, he's plus 500.
Yeah, they got him at like plus 25 here.
Yeah.
And yeah, the plus 500 would put him at 3rd because you got Zach Wheeler at plus 180, basically, depending on which. Yeah, DraftKings here.
Yep.
Plus 180. Chris Sale was plus 210. And then you get dropped down to Ranger Suarez at plus 600.
Oh, yeah, Suarez. And you could probably just pick any of the 4 starters for the Phillies.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the Phillies yesterday, do you see the number of multi home runs yesterday?
No.
in Major League Baseball. 9 different players hit multiple home runs yesterday. And the Philadelphia Phillies lost to the A's 18-3. 3 different A's had multi-home run games. 3 of them. The A's. And I was having this conversation.
Are we having a real life major league season here?
I no, because they're still not good. But this is the thing about the A's. The A's, I don't know what it is about them, but they have, like, against really good teams, they'll just come up with wins out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then they'll just like get hammered by the bad teams.
Yeah.
And then the good teams, the Philadelphia Phillies, who are 62-34.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The A's are 37-61, and they beat them 18-3. Baseball, man.
Yeah.
Baseball. What
It's
a hell
like
of a
the
game.
M's. They just dropped 3 straight to the Angels.
Damn Halos. It's
Angels,
okay, though.
They're not good.
No, they're not good.
And I'm talking about the Angels here. I mean, some might think I'm talking about the Mariners too, but
the good news for the Mariners in that is that the Astros lost 2 of 3 to the Rangers. So it is now just a one-game lead
and
in the AL West.
In the span of about 2 weeks, the Mariners went from like a 10-game lead down to about 2 games.
Yep.
I think it was literally like 2 weeks.
Well, Astros got hot, and the Mariners, by the way, their first-round draft pick is a guy who pitches with both hands. He's a switch pitcher.
Oh, he's amphibious.
Yes, he is amphibious. He can pitch in the water and on land and with both hands. It's crazy. He does both of them.
So that's
right
wild.
there. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
wild.
Yeah. Because that's what the Mariners need is another pitcher, though.
Yes.
The one thing the Mariners need
That's the big thing they're lacking is pitching. I'm not a huge baseballman, but I know this one even.
Yeah, this guy's going to lose a bunch of 1-0 games with both hands.
Yeah.
He's going to be pitching both hands, losing a bunch of 1-0 games.
Oh, man. Where's Felix Hernandez? He knows how that goes.
I still think that's crazy, though, that you can pitch effectively, and he's from Mississippi State. You can pitch both effectively with both hands.
Yeah.
Because, like,
I can't do anything with my left hand.
dude, I can't wipe with my left hand. It is the damnedest thing. Like, there's the simplest tasks I cannot do.
Yeah. Try to get me eating a bowl of cereal with a spoon in my left hand. Nope. That's not going to happen.
It's wild.
Yeah.
And look, I think that maybe we just don't have enough nuns these days that are slapping lefties and making them be right-handed. Because that's like my mom, according to you, is amphibious. And she can write with both hands because she's a lefty, but she went to Catholic school and they would just whack her with the ruler until she became right-handed as well. Maybe that's it.
See, my brother.
Maybe we need more nuns out there coaching baseball.
My brother's a lefty, and I remember when we were kids doing the old golf camps at the old Progress Downs in the summer. They told him that, like, hey, you know what? You're better off using righty clubs because then you have your dominant arm pulling your swing through.
Is your brother a good golfer now?
I have no idea. I haven't played with him.
Okay.
It's been.
Well, I mean,
the last time I played with him was at Claremont, right by our place, and the shot that I remember was on a par 3. He kind of towed it, a little worm burner, bounced off the green, went across the street, bounced off the garage door of the house, and then actually came back across the street and back onto the green again.
So the answer to my question is no.
He did birdie.
Wait, what?
Yeah. The ball came back, it bounced off the garage door and back onto the green, and he hit the putt.
God bless him. God bless him. So maybe he is a good golfer.
He's not.